Well, welcome to my kitchen. It's Diana Chu here at Slowgaze. What up, YouTube? I've just been watching some really great YouTubes that are they called YouTubes? They should be. Seeing some tubes where people have just wonderful personalities and way better intros than mine. Mine is like crickets. Regardless, I'm happy that you clicked on this video and joined me here today at Slowgaze during Slowgazathon 2020. Today we're going to be talking about Ilia. You probably know that because you clicked on this video, but I feel like an intro is always like necessary. I do want to show you that I have the product in hand. This is not a clickbait situation. We have 3 Ilia shadows here today. Gorgeous stuff. And then the Kosas one to compare to. If you're interested in clean beauty, I am trying to move my complexion products and all of my makeup into that space, doing some replacements, but I do have other more traditional and luxury options that I want to show and head-to-head them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. You could thumbs down it too. Spread the love. You could also subscribe. That would be so meaningful to me. It would also help my little channel grow. If you wanted to go one step further and support this channel, you could buy me a coffee. Just $3 will help my content exponentially. Without further ado, let us dive in. Zooming you in quite aggressively here. I don't have any pigments on my cheeks or my face other than the RMS Uncover Up, which is a really nice color match for my skin. I didn't want to pull either too cool or warm toned with any bronzers or anything like that so that you could actually see what we're doing here today. I have the contenders, Ilia's 3 liquid powder chromatic eye tint in Sheen, Fresco, and Glaze. And then I have the single contender Kosas 10-second eyeshadow in Globe. This came out a lot earlier than these. And then I also have a couple other treats and goodies to compare to that are all in the same shade range. So I wanted to make sure I gave you a very comprehensive look at these colors, compared the colors, and then talked a little bit about formulations. And then once we do that, I will put a little bit on my eyes. It looks like on Sephora right now, Fresco is sold out. Okay, so you're actually getting quite a bit more product in here, but you also have a lot of liquid in here, like a liquid base that you have to shake well. The Ilia ones seem a lot more dense. Packaging itself, it does show you how much you're getting. I say they're pretty comparable. They do look like the same size, but just a different height. Let's start with the Ilia ones. This is Glaze. They're super pinky ballet champagne-y color, a pearly cast to it. I want to do bigger swatches for you all, and I featured this product in a couple videos recently, not this exact shade, but it dries down so quickly and you have to really move fast. I've been using this as both an inner corner highlight when I'm in the mood to, and as a highlighter, so I'm not sad that I have this color. Comparing it, however, to the RMS Beauty Master Radiance Base in Rich and Radiance. This baby also has that pink pearlescent glow. It is far moussier and a little more whipped. I picked up quite a bit here, and let me compare that next to Glaze for you. You can see that they're practically twins. Can't really see where one begins and the next ends, or vice versa. So I think this is a wonderful highlight color. If you're into that glazed kind of frosty look on the eyelids, it's nice, but it can be almost too transparent or too subtle for some skin tones. On me, it just looks like a highlighter. Look how similar those are. And this RMS side is far more nourishing. It actually has meadow foam oil, really rich ingredients that I feel like I can move it around and kind of shear it out with. This one, it feels completely dry and like I can feel the slick of the eyeshadow powder just kind of adhered to my hand, whereas this I feel like I can continue to move into my skin, melt into my skin, and this just sits on top. But it isn't budging, which I really enjoy. So that is the first shade. How is everyone today? This is my 6th video for Slowgazathon, and let me move into one more Honest Beauty wet wipe here. I mentioned I would be doing some anti-hauls, some declutters, and even maybe an empties video or like a 2020 makeup roundup. I'm just not there yet. I feel like those really take a lot of like amassing behind the scenes, both mentally, emotionally, and then you have to actually manage your stuff. And I'm not there yet. I have barely unpacked. I love packing. Give me a packing list any day, 2 weeks out. I'm like so overjoyed. But once I get home and the suitcase is there, everything stays in the suitcase. And I hate unpacking. I don't know why. I want to give you videos that are more easily accessible for myself. They're the low-hanging fruit, and talking about products that I've been reaching for and playing with and already have a little opinion about. Now I'm going to go into Fresco and Sheen. They do look quite similar in the tube. You almost cannot differentiate them just by looking at it, especially in this warm light. So Sheen is on top. It actually had to look at the bottom. It is the warmer sister. What I love about it is that it's not overly warm. It has that bronzed golden age feeling. And I'm gonna put her right over here. So moussey, lots on even just one side of that doe foot. Slight pottery smell, and I talked about that in this video that I had done, the 5 shades that I had. This is the only surviving sister or brother that this smells like a pottery studio, like a glazing studio if you've ever been to one. Opening up Fresco here, this is a really nice neutral, almost cool toned shadow. Deeper oyster base. It looks very much like Platinum from Tom Ford. It looks like Marie Antoinette, and now together they look very different. And next to this and next to my skin tone, this is reading really gray. I don't think it has too much lilac in it, but it's that gunmetal, pretty cool toned to show you the spread and what they start to look like when they're sheared out. See how I can barely move that now that it's been sitting on my hand? And this is quite a bit of product. I mentioned before in my other video, this capsule travel makeup video, found dotting it on my eyes really helps because I can deposit way too much product just by swiping one end of the doe foot onto my eyes, and then it chunks up in my little lashes, and then I have to crumble it out after it dries. It's already basically dry. This is not wet to the touch. This side is still holding. It has that wetness. But as I shear it out, there, it's all dry. Up here, same thing. Look how different they are. In the tubes, they just look so much like twins. Absolutely gorgeous. I think this is even more cool toned than the Marie Antoinette. So I'm not gonna wipe this off of my hands yet, but I am gonna wipe it off of my fingers, and we're gonna move into a comparison Spice from Tom Ford. She is very bronzy. You might have seen her in Naked Bronze as well. Let's put her by the thumb here. Look at how similar those are. This is of course a little deeper, a little more brown, like a true brown, but it doesn't have that much difference from this. I think this has a little peachiness. Of course, the formulas are very different. This feels powdery and very dry to the touch now. Has a little silver cast to it. This does have a little bit of silver, but it's mostly golden. If you can see the way that my thumb is moving, it's just shifting gold, true brown, and it has that yellow base, a little bit of orange, whereas this is a lot more neutral. So I like these both. This is already dried down as well, but I find that the Ilia one, if you're looking for a dupe for the Tom Ford, which is so expensive, these again are $28 per one. I think this is a great clean beauty alternative. It really stays put. I don't detect any like high chunk glitter, whereas the Tom Ford one has a sprinkling of gold, very tiny gold flecks in there. So I'm liking this comparison, this relationship here. Let's go in and compare Charlotte Tilbury's Marie Antoinette Cream Shadow, which I have right here, Eyes to Mesmerize. Over here. Oh, they look similar. Dang, those are sister twins. Holy molars. Again, just seeing that next to that, almost no difference. The shine is there, the pearlescence is there, the base pigment is the same saturation. I'm not detecting like heavy lilacs or too much overly gray color. From afar, and maybe I put just a sheerer amount over here, I'm detecting a lot more gray. This has a nice neutrality. That metallic shift, let me just add a little bit more on top. Dabbing that on. Okay, so yeah, you can build them both up. You really can get them to look very similar. Wow, wow, wow. I think the only difference I'm detecting is the Charlotte Tilbury has extremely fine, tiny silver glitters, whereas the Ilia has none. It's just a metallic, almost foiled sheen on top. Wow, okay, I didn't expect for those to be so similar, the Tom Ford and the Charlotte Tilbury pots, which I absolutely adore, but Fresco and Sheen here. Yeah, let me not get these mixed up. I have one job and one job only, and that's to pretend like I'm an authority to tell you what is going on here, but you can almost not tell which is which. Again, this one is Sheen and this one is Fresco. So of the two, I don't think that they are comparable. I wouldn't choose one and then be like, oh yeah, well, I don't need to get the other one, because they are so different. It depends on what you like to see on your eyes. To me, it's like buying the Natasha Denona bronze palette versus the glam palette. Yes, I own both of them, but sometimes I can't tell because my skin tone is very yellow based. It has a lot of green in it, and green, as you know, is right smack dab in the middle between warm toned and cool toned. So I can shift both ways. If you have a neutral base, I think you could shift both ways. Of course, you can shift whatever you like, whatever undertones you have, if you have a leaning or a preference. Wiping that slate clean and letting it dry a little bit. Before I do anything else, I want to show you Kosas's globe. This one has to shake well, so I'm going to do just that. Same doe foot applicator situation. Very liquidy. Find that it dries down very quickly as well. And what do you think that looks like more of? Here it looks like it's coppery, almost orange, but then the shift is entirely cool toned. So maybe this is like them both mixed. Yeah, on my hand it looks very coppery. From there. There we go, very orange. Dries down pat, also powdery. I think that they have similar formulations and similar effects. I find that they both stay really, really well. We have Kosas right here. Again, really dried down, can barely move that. Then we have Sheen, that golden goddess, and then the Marie Antoinette looking one from Ilia, Fresco. If I had to say, this Kosas one actually looks copper, but also a little pink. It's like pink and silver. This is yellow, orange, gold, and really warm. This has that gray gunmetal look with a hint of violet, but it's really not that present. So I'd say they're quite different, actually. I was expecting this to look a lot more like this. The Ilia formulations are so much more similar to the Tom Ford and the Charlotte Tilbury cream eyeshadows than they are similar to this. These are likely pairings because of the packaging, the fact that they're both clean beauty. Before I wipe this off completely from my hands, I do have a couple other colors to show you in comparison. So first off is this Colourpop, a little Quarky, high glitter. So it does have that silver sheen and then that undertone cast of almost copper. I'm gonna run these down here. Oh wow, okay, so yeah, you can tell how glittery that is. You can tell that the base pigment is the warmest and most orange of the three. Next up, I wanted to compare the Westman Atelier Tabak shade. She looks like this. Another medium toned brown / gold. And this one is interesting because it doesn't have a like moussey texture. It's kind of like a hard gel, but you can pick up quite a bit quite easily by putting a little pressure into the pot and running that along. Okay, again, they're so different. I was expecting a few more dupes, but that's even peachier. That looks like a peach dream. It's deeper than I thought too. It's almost darker than this Sheen color there. It's certainly darker than this. And it has a more satiny pearlescent glow, whereas these are foiled and kind of metallic, and this one's kind of glittery, the Colourpop, but Westman Atelier's is kind of the most subtle and the most peachy. So wow, okay. Learning here with the finger paints. Last one, we have Rituel de Fille. This is the Golden Age eye soot pot, and let's stick that finger right down into that little well. Already I can tell this is gonna be the darkest. Yep. Very different. Maybe I shouldn't have even have thought to bring this into the mix, but there she is. Don't think I need to talk too much about that because it's so different. If I cover that back up, we're playing in a similar realm for all of them. Cover up the Westman Atelier, and I think that's kind of where this playground is. The other two were just outliers. So what shall I put on my eyes today? I'm going to try Fresco for you, I think, because that one has not been shown on my channel, and since it's sold out, people are more likely going to be interested in that. And then I might show you what it looks like against the Charlotte Tilbury. Is that the better comparison? I think so. Because again, this one is great, but you can see this on a video that I had. I talk very in depth about the formulation. I show you how I like to use it in a full eye look and on its lonesome. So if you wanted to see more about the Kosas 10-second eyeshadow formulation and all of the colors, definitely link that down below. Glaze does not need to be shown too much, I think. Maybe I can just put her as a highlight, dabbing. Oops. Dabbing is my friend. I have to work relatively quickly, as I mentioned. But it blends out just fine, and it has that powdery finish to it. I'm not too concerned with it getting really patchy or looking too unnatural. All right, Fresco, here we come. Let's do the Marie Antoinette Eyes to Mesmerize from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm going to go in with a finger. My left eye here, super creamy. Gonna bring it pretty far up to the brow so that you can kind of see it. Very subtle, just a touch under my eye. Barely there, a little bit more. And then layer that on top and intensify that look. These are so creamy. I've used these with fluffy eyeshadow brushes as well. I really love the look of that, but I've just been lately using my fingers a lot. Let that dry a little bit. Going in on my right eye, just 3 dots. Blending that out with my finger again. Kind of tapping and patting versus swiping or doing any kind of windshield wiper motions. That blended out so easily. Are we seeing a difference already? They look kind of similar, but this is looking a little darker for the lower lash line. Just a touch, and then again with the finger. Wow, I don't feel like I need to build this eye up anymore. It does feel like it just has that smokiness, that one and done eyeshadow look that I'm looking for. Especially if you have deeper set eyes than I do, I think this is going to work really nicely and give you that sultriness. The shine on this eye is also not as reflective silver. I'm getting a lot more silver tone, a lot more pearly. This might accentuate some eye wrinkles or eye texture if you have mature skin above your eyelids, or if there's a little bit of crepiness. I think that might accentuate a little bit more. Because of my eye shape and because of my monolids, you probably wouldn't be able to tell just by me from this distance that I'm wearing 2 different eyeshadows. Even if I looked like this, I still don't think that any non-discerning eye could tell that there was a huge difference between the two. If I had to buy one again, I would get Fresco over Marie Antoinette just because this has the cruelty-free bunny, whereas Charlotte Tilbury does not. They're both made in Italy. They're both 6-month shelf life. This does have a lot more product in it though, 0.24 fluid ounces. This I think only has 0.12. This one has about 0.2 if I'm not mistaken. I do love anything that comes in a pot. I think this is so much easier to go in with a brush. As for staying powder, I just said staying powder, y'all. In this short amount of time, I'm detecting a slight crease. Let's move back in. Slight creasing, very, very slight creasing. You can barely tell, but there's like a lighter line of product that has started to develop in my baby crease. And then here I also have a baby crease, and granted the Ilia did go on second. However, I'm not detecting anything moving. This feels a little drier to the touch, whereas this feels slightly creamier. Just a reminder that if you wanted to see Sheen in action, I will link the video down below so you can see what a warm toned color looks like on my skin, but also with a bunch of warm toned bronzers and face products and see them all in concert together. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me here in my kitchen. I didn't even tidy up for y'all. This is the slice of life beauty that is part of the Slowgazathon, this Vlogmas season. So I'll see you every single day until Christmas Day on 2020, and then we will part ways. So sad. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for all your kind love and support. I hope you're feeling strong and empowered today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.
Please handle this side up. You got me upside down. Should only feel this much.